Our home, the solar system. Today, we are going to talk about a special planet in our solar system called the Earth. We are going to focus on the Earth and we will learn how the Earth's rotation and revolvement affect what we experience in this planet. First, the Earth is special not only because it is the only planet with life in the solar system, but because it also has a tilt of an angle of 33.5 degrees. Because of this tilt, the Earth can rotate on its axis. A rotation means spinning on its axis. A full spin of the Earth takes approximately 24 hours. What is 24 hours the same as? I'll give you a minute to think about it. If you said one day, you were correct, because it takes 24 hours or a day for the Earth to spin on its axis. Not only does the Earth spin on its axis, it also goes around the Sun, and it takes 365 days for this to happen. The Earth going around the Sun is called revolving. Revolving is going around another object, which is what the Earth does to the Sun. It revolves around it. Because of this revolvement, we have seasons. When we face towards the Sun, we get summer. As we go away from the Sun, we get fall. Then, when we are facing away from the Sun, we get winter. And finally, when we start facing the Sun again, we get spring. Let's take a moment to reflect on our learning. How do we measure the revolutions the Earth takes around the Sun? Also, what happens as the Earth revolves around the Sun? Hint: there are 4 of them. Let's take a moment to answer these questions. Well, how do we measure the revolutions the Earth takes around the Sun? We measure it in days, which we turn into years as time passes on. And what happens as the Earth revolves around the Sun? We get seasons: summer, spring, fall, winter. Now that we've talked about how the Sun and the Earth are connected, let's see how the Moon fits in with them. Do you remember if the Earth revolved or rotated around the Sun? Take a minute to reflect. You're right! The Earth revolves around the Sun, and the Moon does the same thing to the Earth. It revolves. This means it goes around the Earth in 28 days. What happens as the Moon revolves around the Earth? Let's see. What happens as the Moon revolves around the Earth? I'll give you a minute to think about it. You're correct. We get moon phases as the Moon goes around the Earth. Well, why do we see phases of the Moon? First, we have to know that we always only see half of the real Moon because the Moon always faces in the same direction. Well, let's see why we get a new moon. We get a new moon because the sunlight hits the Moon, but since the half of the Moon is not facing the Earth, we cannot see the Moon, and that is why it's dark in the new moon. In quarter moon, the sunlight hits the Moon, and we are able to see a quarter of the Moon since half of the moon is visible to us. In full moon, the sun rays hit the moon, and since the moon is facing the earth, we can see a full moon. In the third quarter moon, the sunlight hits the moon, and we are able to see a quarter of the moon because half of the quarter of the moon is visible to us. This is how the earth, sun, and the moon are connected. Now, can you write in your journal a paragraph on why we see different phases of the moon? Include the earth and the sun in your explanation, as well as revolving and rotating.